We're going to go to Colonel Scot Heathman first.
Hey, Mickey, it's great to meet you. This is fascinating. One of the models, when you talk about influence and trust, I use in some of my leadership training is the behavioral change model that was developed by the FBI. And I'm curious, do you have any relationship with Chris Voss and his negotiation techniques and tactics and things like that?
Thank you. Two things. One, in terms of the that model and that type of work, I have to say, and I typically start it, so I excuse me for forgetting to say that. Um, I look at negotiations differently than the typical average negotiations that we look at as a transaction, the give and take kind of part of it. I define negotiations, especially because of my work, but in general, as our ability to influence somebody else's behavior and decision making. So it's a broader thing, and yes, there's transactions and there's exchanges and deals in it, but it's really about influencing somebody's behavior. And in that is embedded the fact that it's not only about national interests, it's about personalities and it's about characters and their motivations, not only at the top level, but everywhere down to the lower level that everybody you engage with, how are they being evaluated? And to take it into a business modality for a second, you might be dealing with a salesperson. The CEO gets evaluated very different than the salesperson. And unless you understand how the salesperson get paid, get evaluated, and move their career, you're going to miss the whole thing of what you can achieve with him rather with the CEO. So yes, I'm a big fan of the human-centered approach to negotiations, Scott. And on Chris Voss, he teaches at Georgetown, where I teach too, even though different schools. And his book, Never Split the Difference, is a fantastic book. And I have this thing I say, like, most of the negotiators, the big time negotiators, like Chris Voss, like President Trump, again, not saying you like him, not like him, irrelevant for this. His book, The Art of the Deal itself, is a good book on negotiation styles. And most of the people who write these negotiations, if you follow them and if you follow Chris Voss's thing and to a T, you can be the best negotiator ever if you are him. And that is an important thing for me that I try to distinguish. There is a tendency of these negotiators that write the books to be of very certain personality. And all of us think about, close your eyes, imagine the negotiator personality. We all come up with the same thing. The person who can bluff, the person who can be a bully when needed, the person who can relate. All this, it's a very specific personality. And most of us are not like that, including myself. I mean, I sound very confident here. My confidence comes from my professionalism. If we were having the same group here and we talk on a different thing, I'll be sitting quiet and watching everybody because I'm an introvert. Except for where the places that I feel confident because that's my profession. I've been doing it for 2 decades. I can't bluff. I can't play poker. My face shows it. And so if I were trying to imitate the Donald Trumps or the Chris Vosses of the world, I will fall flat and fail because if I'm not genuine, it will be seen. I had to realize that about myself and adjust my style to that. And so I think that the problem I have with these books, it's not the books, they're fantastic, but the fact that they do two potential disservices. One are the people who are not like them but are trying to imitate them and they fail. And second are the people like myself who say, wow, I wish I could be that, but that's not me. So I guess I can't be a good negotiator, or I can't be a good leader, or I can't be a good communicator, and I leave the field. And we're losing a lot of great talent because there's no good or bad personality for this. There's no good or bad personality, period. But not for negotiations, not for leadership, not for communications. We just need to figure out who we are, get really genuine with this, lean into this, and if we do that, we can be very effective no matter what our personality traits are.
Such a fascinating answer.